Okay, guys, so welcome, and we have a very special guest with us today, known as Sky High. Sky High is one of the leading emerging talents in UKG music. He has done a tour around England, playing some really great live venues, also opening for none other than Sammy, Virji and Oppidan, amassed hundreds of thousands of views, releases continuous music, someone who I really admire and love their tracks. So we're going to do a track breakdown. Let's get into it.
Whenever you need me, call me, and I'll be right there. Whenever you're lonely, show me.
Welcome, and we are joined by a certain Mr. Sky High,
Hey, what's good?
whom I've actually met in person. We played ministry together,
Yeah.
and you actually let me borrow your headphones because I forgot mine.
These exact ones right
It was
here.
in those ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a right nightmare on those decks.
They have one of the decks was like I don't know what was wrong with it, but you couldn't time it with the other ones.
Yeah, oh mate.
And it was like even I was like, right, this isn't working. I'm gonna just put sync on quickly to see if that fixed. Even that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what that was, cursed deck. I had no idea what was going on with that, so I just left it alone. I gave up.
Mate, it was so annoying. Your DJ skills are absolutely unbelievable. I was just watching you as you were doing it. And I don't drink, so it was we were we were at a club and I'm not drinking, so I'm just literally watching what you're doing, and I was flabbergasted. So
Oh, appreciate that, mate. Thank
how
you.
long have you been doing the DJ stuff?
I've been producing way longer than DJing, but I'd say probably what, 5 years, I'd say roughly
Yeah. Okay.
DJing.
5 years. Yeah, and so you've actually had some really good things happen, right? You opened for a few certain big names like a Sammy Virji and Oppidan, right?
Yes, I did. I opened for Virji. Yeah, I was on. It was such a sick lineup on that show. So Virji was the headliner, and then Oppidan closed. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was opening for the whole evening, and that was unreal, absolutely unreal.
And what was it? Was you nervous beforehand? Like,
Oh
did you
yeah.
pre-plan, or was you just going
Once
freestyling?
again, I didn't plan. I do a tiny bit more planning now, but I didn't plan at the time because I quite like just going in and freestyling, just playing what I want to play and seeing how the room reads it and catering to that or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
get you.
before it, obviously, I was so nervous. I was playing, I think it's to either 2 or 3 thousand that night. So obviously,
Jesus.
I'm bricking it.
Yeah.
But weirdly, when I was up and playing, I think that's the calmest I've ever felt like playing a set. I don't know
What
why.
do you think it is?
Maybe it's just the
Was it
adrenaline just
after like
taking
the
over.
first, after the first couple of tracks and you start feeling all right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I had a couple beers beforehand. I was
Oh,
like,
did
maybe
you?
that has it. Yeah. So I
And
was like,
who else was playing then?
so it was me, then DJ Boring, then Virgie, then Oppidan.
Yeah, that's mental. And what were they
But
like? Were they nice to you? How did?
I was
Go on.
too nervous to chat to them because the staff were like, you can go in their dressing rooms, knock on the door, say hello to them, or whatever. And I'm like, mate, they don't know who I am. I'm not going to just like burst in and be like, hi guys, I just opened
Yeah,
for you, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because Virgie had loads of people. Because you could hear through the door. He had like Window Kid and all of
Yeah.
his team and like all the crew cast lot were in there as well. And so I was like, yeah, probably not just going to burst in on that.
No, yeah.
To be
Well, you
fair.
should have gone in, mate. That'd be a great
I
one.
did say I did say a quick hello and like shook Virgie's hand before he went on, but that was literally about as he was about to go on. But
Mm,
I get like so in my head about like
nervous,
chatting
yeah.
to people. Yeah, I get so nervous about it. So I'm like, oh, I do
Oh,
wish now. I wish I chatted to people a bit more,
I
100%.
would have knocked in the door, mate. I was just thinking,
Yeah,
going for it, bro.
yeah.
All the crew cast lot as well, So that's a great. But yeah, so you done that. So how did that sort of happen for you? How did you get booked for that? Did you have a booking agent or?
No, I didn't have an agent or anything at the time. I was in chats with their management
Okay,
essentially.
yeah,
We were having a few meetings. One of the managers texted me one day and they were like, "We need an opener for Virgie's Not Gonna Show. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Of course, obviously, I'm going to do
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
100%."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, a couple of days later, got it was all checked out, all done. I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah. So how long did you have to prepare? Mentally
Oh,
prepare?
probably like. Well, probably like a couple of weeks, I think, before
Oh, okay. Yeah.
is when I was locked in. So plenty of time to prepare, but I just wanted to freestyle. At that time, I was so like, I just want to sit, read the room, and play what I want to play.
Yeah. How was it
And
received?
I think I think people enjoyed it. I got a few videos back from the crowd, and it seemed to be
Yeah.
moving. It was good, but obviously, I was playing an opening set. So I don't want to
You
be
didn't want to
sending
go
the
heavy.
room into
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to be
yeah.
sending the room into absolute chaos
So
because that's not
what kind of stuff did you play?
started off with kind of like UKG and that old school kind of bumpy like melodic-y garage.
Yeah.
Did that for a lot of the set, and then towards like the end, or like just after halfway, I was going more like mashup stuff, like
Yeah.
chucking loads of grime acapellas over stuff, trying to chuck in a load of unreleased Sky High stuff at the time as well, seeing how that went down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then at the end, I went heavy at the end because
Yeah.
I was like, I went heavy at the end because I was like, do you know what? It's picking up a bit now. Everyone was kind of getting moving and getting in the mood. So I was like, we'll send it a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, keep them on their toes. But yeah, it was so fun.
Because you've got your own sort of sound going on, your own unique type of sound. Was that the kind of stuff that is that the kind of stuff that you play in most of your sets?
Yeah, I try to. I like to try and split my sound into two halves.
Yeah.
So like you've got the heavier Sky High stuff
Yeah.
for the DJ sets or whatever. But I've always been a huge like I fell in love with like the new garage and new KG since I first started hearing it. So that's foremost what I focus on and like making.
Hmm.
So obviously when I play live and I do a set, I try to do both,
Yeah.
take them on a journey through both, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I did my first tour last year,
Hmm.
and that was amazing.
Oh, where did you play?
I did pretty much all of the Midlands, London, a bit of East Anglia. There's a tight little scene in the Midlands, definitely, because all the major cities are so close to each other. Everyone, all the different scenes from all the different cities will always go to each other's
Yeah.
things, and yeah, I mean, especially in like I played in Leicester, Derby, and Nottingham. The same
Nottingham's got
crews.
a good vibe actually.
Nottingham's
Really good vibe.
yeah, Nottingham's great. I love Nottingham. But yeah, all the Midlands crews, you see them all like city hopping around to the different things, and
Yeah.
it's nice.
I actually have a lot of people coming in from Australia that are listening. It's massive over in Australia.
Yeah, it's booted off in Australia. I think also in like Japan, it started doing pretty good as well. Yeah, I see a
Okay.
lot of like garage artists getting booked for Japan now, and like I get tagged in a few things with like people in Japan like listening to it as well. And it's like,
Really? And you've just had a track out, was it last week or the week before?
oh, I'd say a couple weeks ago now, probably. But yeah, the project that I've got up now
Yeah,
with
with
Cheska, Slow Down.
Jessica. So how did this come about?
So I produced the instrumental,
Yeah.
mixed it down. It was all done like final, and I can't remember if I had any vocal chops over it, if it was just blank. But I was like, this is missing something, and I was really stuck with it. I was like, I don't know what to add to it, so just put a story up on Instagram. I was like, if any vocalists want to get involved, let me know. She
Yeah.
replied, uh, and yeah, I had a look at some of her stuff, like the sound of her voice. Saw that she worked with like Zephyr, who's quite a big garage artist. So I was like, oh, you see, you know what you're doing in the garage space, which is nice. So I was like, stemmed it up, sent it to her. We went back and forth. She was great to work with, and came out with this.
Whenever you need me, call me, and I'll be right there. Whenever you're lonely, show me, you know I'll be there. Whenever you need me, call me, and I'll be right there. Whenever you're lonely, show me, you know I'll be there.
That's awesome. That's a really good track actually.
Appreciate
Very,
that, man.
very
Thank you.
It's got a lot of things going on. A lot. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of things going on. Where did you
How many
what's-
channels have we got? So it's quite. I usually get about 100 tracks out of a project, so this one's pretty small.
Really? Okay. So what's your inspiration behind this?
I don't really know. I just kind of wanted to make something like smoother, I think, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever made a melodic two-step track.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's try and do that.
Yeah, that's right. So is there anyone that you sort of were influenced by? Anyone that you are influenced by, in fact?
Disclosure shaped a massive, huge influence over my music taste. I was like starting school and like in secondary school and shit when I was listening to their like first album. So
Yeah.
that's been with me for a long time. But also like I love a lot of the new UKG players out there like oppidan, Virji. They've all got huge inspirations. It's an artist called Dan B. He makes really sick stuff, and that definitely had an inspiration into it as well.
But if we could dive into it, roll through the sort of drum elements that you like to use. Are you someone that you know what you have going in beforehand, or do you just say you go off each track is a different type of feel you do?
My drum process is usually I try to it does come back to bite me sometimes, but I try to make as much from scratch as I can.
Yeah, I have somewhat the same samples that I like. They're my go-tos, you know.
Yes,
So,
I do. Like these shakers that I've got down here are pretty much in every Sky High track ever because they just fill everything out so nicely.
yeah,
Yeah, you get those. You got your favorite like hat samples as well.
yeah.
Um,
Just play them. Where have we got the kick?
so kick and snap here. I'm always
You import
always
it into a
always MIDI. I'm such a fan of it, and because you can easily replace your samples, you know, do your volumes with your velocity, and also in Ableton, you can just press this, like select a swing, hit apply, and it goes over everything. You got the same swing over everything. You're not messing about on the grid.
and are you using the swing on the snares and the kick?
I use it on absolutely everything. It goes
Okay.
on everything pretty much, every element of my project. It's just the standard like 16th triplet swing. I think it's just the 16th triplet Logic setting pretty much.
And you're messing with the velocities. That's interesting. So your kick velocity there, I can
Yeah,
see somewhere
yeah.
higher. At least for the ghost kicks, are they?
Yeah, so it's kind of like, let me just solo the kick out. So it's just to control the volume to make it bounce a little bit more.
One of the things I do is I'll shorten the tail end of the kicks, shorten the actual sample. Are you
Yeah.
doing that, or are you letting it ride out?
For mix purposes, I didn't in this tune, but I usually will fade
yeah.
the tail off for the mix. Yeah, fade like these little last oscillations out because that can you can get a lot more weight in your low end if you get rid of those.
Sample wise, where are you? Are you using Splice? You're going through things that you already have, things that sent, things that you bought.
Most of the time I use Splice, but instead of like going for loops or looking through packs, I'll just build like my own collection of like one shots that I like. Like all the hats and stuff is where I usually do a lot of processing. But I didn't actually do any this time. I just cut the low end out, boosted the highs a bit.
Yes. Why would you do that then? Cutting like the low ends.
Just so because a lot of the hats that I choose and also like loops and stuff, if you're using shakers or whatever, usually you've got a bit of low end rumble that you can't audibly hear that'll come up on the spectrum. So if I get that, if turn this off, there probably will be like, yeah, so you've got like low end down there. So you can cut that out, make so much more room for your kick and your bass, and yeah, just getting rid of that mud that you don't need.
Okay, so where are your hats then?
So I've got a few main hats in this hats group. So this layer here.
Okay, so you've got quite a few layers. So you, like
Yeah.
me, you layer your hats. What kind of, do you have a main one and the other ones are complementing it? Is it?
I just put shit in, like throw stuff at it until
yeah.
I get something cool. But
Yeah.
I think with this one,
Okay, yeah.
you
They're
see
very
the-
short, aren't they? They're short.
yeah, especially for the like accents here, because I like that strong transient, that snap that kind of keeps the pace of the loop going. But for these hats, I just found these like two that I kind of like the characteristics of, and then I can think this one, yeah, strong transient on it, keep it snappy.
If we go back to your group processing, so what kind of things are you using on there to keep? Because it's quite punchy, isn't it? Your drums,
Yes,
they
so
stick
on-
through the mix.
On my actual drum bus, I've got filters just for like creative effects, like filtering down, whatever. That doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
But fresh air to
that's
get.
interesting that you put the fresh air. I've never thought about that.
I love fresh air. I use it on everything.
Really?
Even basses,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll use fresh air on it, which sounds counterintuitive.
For the people watching, it's a free plugin, right? So
Yeah, it's unreal. Absolutely unreal. I use it so much. It saves my mix down 100%. But yeah, I don't mix my projects as I go. I usually make the song, get the vibe, then I'll solely just sit and mix, and
Yeah,
all of my
okay.
stuff comes out muddy
yeah,
when I've made the tune. So fresh air is getting rinsed. So yeah, fresh air, compressor, Ableton, glue compressor, parallel compression on the drums. You can see it on the title there. Then I use saturate. I bring the volume down into my saturation plugins because there's a little bit of a sweet spot that certain plugins like to sit at. So bring it down to that. Saturation knob. This is another freebie, soft tube. Usually it works wonders. It either does really well or completely destroys it.
I actually
This time
don't
it works.
use it as far as you're using it. That's interesting that you push it quite hard. It can create like a bit of distortion, right, as well.
Yeah, usually I find about if we're getting up to like the next notch here, then we're starting to.
Yeah.
I like to get my tracks quite loud, so I do push my saturation a decent amount. It depends how you want your track to sound, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you don't need this. This is doing. It's just a loudness meter, so I can
okay.
gain stage my
yeah.
mixing, making sure I'm actually not hurting anything. And then just a clipper on the ends to shaver the peaks off.
Is this
Another freebie?
Another
Yeah.
freebie. I've never seen this one.
Free clip.
Well, people use I use limiting, but I seem to a lot of people I speak to they do the clipping instead.
For your most important elements, and you can get away with it on your drums, clipping it, you'll get so much more loudness out
Yeah,
of it, and a
because
lot
it
more
keeps
punch out of it.
it keeps it at a certain volume, but you're
Yeah.
also making it seem like it's so much louder.
I find with like if I do limiting on bass or drums, I lose the punch or low ends. You lose like a tiny amount, but it's negligible really. But I can tell. So I'm
Okay.
like, right,
Yeah. That's
like-
interesting. That's really
I
interesting.
so for stuff like that, I'll usually clip. For synths and stuff, I'll probably lean more towards limiting for stuff like that.
On track 63, what have we
This.
got?
That's just like a background, like hat. Look, kind of doing
Yeah.
like backing up these two shakers
Yeah,
that I've got
okay, so
down
it's
here.
the same
essentially.
rhythm.
Yeah, so I've got a whole group called Shakers under the hats group, which
Yeah.
is just
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
background to fill out that drum loop. Because you don't realise how much, like if I take it out, then I'll add it back in. Just adds so much more depth, all those background elements.
Well, it's like a ride almost on the.
Yeah, the ride. I don't know why the ride's in the Shaker group, but
Yeah.
inspiration at a time, chucking everything anywhere. Anything goes.
So one of the things I sort of say when I'm doing the videos is I try not to overcomplicate things. How do you make it so that, because everything's kind of like has its own space, how are
Yeah.
you making it so that you don't have top loops like that are clashing, or like rim shots that are maybe not clashing with everything else? How do you make everything sit in its right place?
A lot, as you said, don't overcomplicate it. A lot of my older tracks, I'm really guilty of like over processing and
Yeah, that's right.
putting endless plugins and everything when you don't need it. That's why you probably see a lot of volume meters lying about in this project that I've forgotten to delete, because I'm gain staging everything and A/Bing and checking if it's actually helping.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't need to do a lot, like just EQs, and like if you could get a sick mix just from EQing stuff and like getting it all sitting in the right space.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a lot of it's in the writing. I could spend hours trying to get these pockets in this drum loop right,
Yeah.
and until I'm like really happy with the pockets on the drum loop, I'll keep working at it.
So
But
what are you talking about when you say pockets?
so like for example, so these two like my percussion accents. So
Yeah,
there's this-
I think they're incredibly important when it comes to
it
garage.
makes it, but like
Yeah.
stuff like little things like that. As you can see here, you have one separate from the kick just after the snare. You can see there's always kind of hitting under a gap that's one way to not clutter it up. But yeah, literally just by feeling, like just throw stuff in. A lot of the time, like this is one of my favorite bits of the drum loop. This just that one
Yeah, yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it adds so much to it. Like
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
chucked it in at a random spot and it works. I love to sculpt my sounds. I'm always like chopping and fading and pitching stuff. Because even if like a perk or yeah, a little something like this is
Yeah.
out by like a semitone or something. Yeah, sometimes you shift it up a tiny bit and it just sounds so much better.
Yeah, so if we can go to your synths, your stabby synths that are playing,
Yeah.
let's have just a solo with them quick.
Solo the synth bus.
This is where it really gets interesting for me. And something I like to really hammer on people is the chord progressions, because in UKG it's really like jazz infused almost, if you like.
Yeah.
How are you getting your chord progressions?
I'm usually drawing, or I will play piano until I strike a chord that I'm like, that's sick.
Yeah.
And I'll
So-
save
so
that
you-
individual chord. I will sit and mess about until I get a chord that I like, and then
Yeah.
Ableton's got, I think most DAWs have this where you can record, but your DAW will listen in when you're not recording, so then you can just grab back. If you've played something sick and you're not recording, you can
That's
grab
an
it back.
Ableton feature, I think, right?
Yeah, I think Logic has it too because I've done it in Logic before. I think.
Really?
When it's always listening. So if you strike a chord or something you like but you're not recording, you press that button and it'll dump everything and fish that chord out, save that for later. Oh no, go again until I find another one, stuff like that. Or yeah, that or I just sit and draw them in.
Yeah, yeah, quite cluster chords. It's like a
Yeah.
disclosure thing, right? So you're playing extensions, but then you're putting it down the octave.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, I get lazy sometimes when I write, so you can see the rest of the chord progression. Actually, I haven't done it this time, but sometimes I'll play like a couple of goodies, and then I'll just pitch these differently or something to make something. But usually, I'm just mucking about with like the inversions and the voicings of it.
In terms of placement, it's interesting because this is like a common garage theme. You're on the 1 and the 3 of the first bar, and then mixing it up for bar. So you play on the stab chords on one. You go duh duh, and then duh on the off between.
Yeah. Technically, I mean, this is what they're actually playing like that because I have the swing.
There's a
I don't have
swing,
the
yeah.
swing committed in the piano roll. So if
Yeah.
I want to change something, then I can change something and it will carry the swing with the change that you've made. So although everything in my project will appear on the grid like this,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
dead
But it's
straight,
not.
but
Yeah.
it's not technically playing that, if that makes sense.
Right, and so are you layering different pads? The pad that you have right now is wicked. So is that a serum thing?
Yeah. So I'm really fussy with my sound design. I try and make 90% of the sounds I use in my productions are stuff that I've made. So
Okay,
I've got
that's
a
really cool,
massive,
actually.
massive serum collection of like pads. But this pad is
That's
just,
such a wicked pad.
if I open it up, just a serum patch that I made. Filter work, sine waves, and phasey square shit going on. Chorus, high dimension, like that. Added some ozone imager on it to widen it out a little bit. Erosion, so that's just downsample, Ableton's downsample plugin, and then just EQ to slot it into the mix a bit better.
that downsample thing, what is it doing?
It gives me the vibe of like a kind of tonal downsample.
Yeah, is
So
it like an
it's not-
RC20?
Kind of, yeah. Like if I move this dot around,
That's
how it changes.
There's something in Logic called Fat Effects that does the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Are you sort of drawing any kind of automation in there?
I am, yeah. So like the start of the second drop here, like that. Just super massive reverb automation on the mix, and then a filter up. See it down here.
Yeah, got you.
In terms of actual like synth automation, sometimes like if I'm doing build-ups, you like do attack and release and automate that and whatever. Yeah, I do a lot of effects automation, 100%. There's loads of that all over my tracks.
Yeah, so is it just the one stab synth you got going, or is there layers underneath?
So the main one is that, which
Yeah.
just looked at, and then I've just got another serum, but it's just playing white noise.
Yeah, I hear this actually quite a lot on your on your tracks? Is that something you like to really hammer in? What's the reasoning for doing that?
I think, well, I usually do it so I'll make the song just with the original layering, and then it'll get to like the end when I've heard it so many times, and it'll get to the end of the project, and I'm like, oh, it's not quite full enough, is it? So I'll chuck a white noise under it, and that usually fills it
Emphasizes
out a
it.
little bit more. Yeah,
And there's some really cool stuff going on in between the actual chords. So you've
yeah,
got like
yeah.
stab elements. I can see.
So there's not actually that many in between fills in this project. You've got this,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
so that's a stock loop from Logic that I just time stretched to swing it a bit more, transposed it into key. I filtered it as well, so it's got like you can see the filter coming down like
Yeah, that's
that.
cool.
EQ, flip the phase of it. Must not have been sitting or something.
Yeah,
It's got a bit of reverb and imaging to make it wider.
yeah. Is that
So
something you like to do with all of your like, kind of pad elements? So you're making them wide.
I usually try not to because I know when you're like, yeah, if you start playing it in clubs and you've got really wide pads, then
It gets lost.
it gets lost. So I'm really conscious of that. But you can do like Image is pretty good at. I've actually not widened it. I've turned it down here actually because I'm guessing it was
Too wide.
too wide.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's wide. But usually, like you can use like Imager or like Chorus on a really light setting to add the width and not lose anything. So a lot of my stuff is actually quite narrow.
I think it depends on what you're going for. So this is something I also have said is when it comes to structure wise, dependent on how you're thinking about it and where you vision it being played. And again, if you're thinking about am I going to do it in set, you're kind of going through the elements and like what would sound good when I'm playing
Yeah.
it in a club, right? For me, when I'm doing it, I'm kind of like what would sound good in my headphones or a car or a because
Yeah.
I lean slightly more, I guess, melodic commercial if you like. But are you thinking structure in terms of structure? You're thinking how can I bring it in? What's going to sound good in set? What will work
Yeah.
on the drops?
It depends on the project. If I'm doing like a bass project or something heavier, then I'm thinking very consciously about DJing with it and like working it into a set. But for stuff like this tune, my melodic stuff, I'm just want to make a cool song, like something
Yeah, that's
that I
right.
think's a sick song. Although I keep the club in mind with these, like I always want my melodic stuff to still be playable in the club and sound competitive in a club. So although it's still partly there, it's not the focus essentially.
When it came to these stabs and not complicating it with the drums, because again things can get like messy sometimes. I guess how are you
Yeah.
kind of thinking about if we soloed maybe the drums and just the pads?
Yeah,
How are
yeah.
we getting everything to sit?
For me, it's just trial and error. Like
The
I'm just throwing everything at it until I find something that works. And if I'm having to sit and tweak one thing for ages and put in the work for it, it's probably not gonna
yeah, yeah.
work that
But
way in the
is the
end.
kit kind of matching the same rhythm as the pads?
No, but it is kind of similar because it's filling in a pocket kind of in this one. It's just slightly after the stabs, but I always like that sound of the side chain hitting and like with the downbeat, like that kind of nerfing the pads a little
So,
bit. I
so,
always like that.
Side chaining wise, are you routing it just to the kick?
So I've got at the top of my project, you see these MIDI tracks here.
Ah, cool.
So
Right.
these are just my MIDI signals, and then my projects is split into groups. You can see melodics, which just sits vocal, bass, drums, and then on the bass is in the important groups. I have LFO tool to accept the MIDI triggers and duck the volume out. Basically, that's what I'm doing.
Open up the bass.
Yeah, go for it. The bass is tiny in this in this project. There's not a lot going on in the bass channel. Well, this is the bass line in the first half of the drop.
Okay, and it's just matching the same rhythm again as the.
Yeah, pretty much. We're hitting the roots of the chords, and
Yeah.
then you have a couple of little jumps in here just to kind of create a little pocket, get a rhythm going.
And you've got a couple of layers going on. That's interesting. You've got like it almost sounds like a bass guitar.
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with just the top end coming through.
So the main, yeah, so this is a contact upright bass. which I've done various things, processed that to make it how I want it to sound. And then under it, I have a serum, which is just a sub, which is clipping quite badly in this, but you don't hear it in this.
Yeah.
I grouped them up and processed them as one unit then, but I didn't do a lot. I just dug some mud out of that one.
Are you saturating the basses quite a lot?
Yeah,
are you doing it via bus or is it
I
in the
have,
actual
you
channel?
can see on my bass bus, which has got all of my bass
Wow. Okay.
elements in the entire project, is where I'm doing the
So
bulk of
you've
my
got
processing.
some saturation going on.
Yeah, two saturators. So I got soft tube again,
Yeah.
Ableton saturator,
Okay.
which that does wonders on.
The EQ next to it.
So
It looks
that
like you're
mid,
rolling off the lows though.
so this is mid side EQ just on the
Ah,
sides.
that's really interesting. That's
So
really
I'm making everything below 120 mono,
yeah.
which cleans up the low end and lets the kick just thump through, which is good. Taking some mud out, and then I don't do this anymore, but is the taking out the fundamental of the kick on the EQ, so I can let the kick kind of hit through a little bit further, but I don't usually tend to do that anymore because it does sacrifice the low end a little bit.
Mm.
And then a clipper, and then all of this other stuff. It's got the LFO tool for the side chain, and then this is all just for monitoring. Like I've got an oscilloscope for when I'm clipping it.
And again with the selection of the notes, making everything sort of cohesive. Is there something you're kind of actively conscious of when it comes to not overdoing it with the basses?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends on the scenario, but 90% of the time I've got something going over the bass, like the chords in this case. So I usually will drag the chord MIDI down to the bass, take everything out apart from the roots, and then I've got something to work with then.
Yes.
So it's just a case of filling it out afterwards, just adding your extra like little fills and stuff like that in to kind of
It really
turn
gives
it
it
into
that
something a bit
bounce,
different.
that sort of bounce, that UKG skippy rhythm. If you like these little fills almost, the fills with the basses, like in between, you can see that these on bar 3 4 2 there, you've got those notes are really making it sound like that, you know. They're really important, especially there, and then you've got the one in the pads that do the same thing with the drum.
It's essential, and it misses so much. Like if I take it out, anything like that. Yeah, it just gives it that bounce that it needs.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so is it in terms of effects when you're going into the drop? Are you putting down sweepers, anything in there?
I usually am pretty light on effects, but so I don't add the effects until I finish the track.
Okay.
So the writing does the transition work,
Yeah.
which is something that I think that makes the song sound so much cooler. But then I'm adding effects more of to fill the mix out instead of to take you to the next section, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you've got a couple risers layered. You've got the SKYHIGH tag in as well, just before, but that's all that there is in the build.
And right, it's interesting that you sort of cut off all elements before the drop hit. So you were doing that with volume as well. Volume automation.
Honestly, because these are just clips without any effects on
Yeah,
it.
but
So as soon as the clip ends, there's nothing to.
But like the pads
Play.
up.
Oh, the pads, yeah. I'll just mute everything.
Yeah. Okay, and that
Just
makes
mute
it
everything.
makes the drop way more impactful, right?
Yeah, it makes the drop hit a lot harder. You're creating a bit of tension before.
In terms of creating that tension, are you automating? We went for a little bit earlier, but you're automating sort of a reverb cut offs in terms of filter cut off.
Let's have a look.
You know.
So this background pad's being filtered up. I'm actually not really doing a lot of automation in this at all, or if any.
Yeah, well,
really.
it's interesting. You've got a sustain pad underneath, and then a pad, your main pad, almost mirroring what's going to do in the drop,
Yeah.
which is slightly different, right? Which is important, I guess. So with the freeze file up there, what's that doing?
That is so whatever I used to make. Oh yeah, I think it's just because this was taking up way too much CPU. Is this just the string? I think it's just the string now. Yeah, it is. It's
So
because I
you
laid.
so it was a separate pad. You've bounced
Yeah,
it
I
out.
like to keep the original track if I've bounced it out in case I need to go back and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
replay stuff.
That's right.
But that's just it's just the intro string. I've just froze it because it was a bit CPU heavy, but it's 2 layers of analog lab. But yeah, in terms of like the build, there's actually no automation pretty much apart from this pad filter going on. I let the silence before the drop kind of do the work
Yeah, yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah. What's the? Is it a flutter? It's called.
Yeah. So this is just like a atmosphere that I have in the background. About
Okay,
this.
yeah.
Got an LFO tool on it. That's enough automation
What's
for
the
something.
LFO tool doing there then?
So that's adding this rhythm. So take it off. That's the original file. So I think the LFO tool is just running by itself. So it's running at a 16 rate with a swing on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I use atmospheres like this all the time in the background of tracks, and especially the LFO on it. I think it adds so much more swing because if I go to like the build up,
In terms of your intro, and how did you think about structure here? Are you thinking about it in terms of because you do have a vocalist on this?
yeah.
Are you thinking about it in terms of verse, pre-chorus, chorus, or are you thinking just build?
You honestly, I just at the time whatever comes out and works. Like on the day that I wrote this, so I wrote this whole intro. I had the
Is it a
idea.
16 bar there, like kind of a 16?
Yeah, so this is
before the
yeah.
drop.
So in terms of like bars, I do keep DJing in mind here. So of my drops are usually about 32 because I like
right,
to do two separate drops to kind of keep it interesting. If I'm doing clubby music, then maybe I'll have a longer intro than 16 bars, especially if you have extended mixes. But for songs like this, it's what works for the song.
And in terms of the vocal,
Whenever you need me, call me, and I'll be right there. Whenever you're lonely.
I'm guessing she sent it over dry, right?
Yes, so I actually did. Majority of the vocal production for this tune is done in Logic. So
Oh, really?
what this
Okay, yeah,
is,
yeah.
this is all stuff that's come out of Logic.
Well, do you remember sort of what processing you might have put on it?
So I did the actual mixing of the vocal in Ableton, but the actual production, like the tuning and stuff, I changed a few melodies and that here with Flex Pitch and Logic.
Yeah.
And cleaned up and demudded the original takes a little bit because I comped all the vocals in Ableton. Then I took those comps into Logic, tunes.
And how involved are you with the actual writing of sort of the melody and lyrics?
Not that involved.
You
Like
just let them go.
I wrote the instrumental. I finished the instrumental before I gave it to Cheska, and I'm just like, if I'm working with vocalists, I like their sound and what they do, so I want to let them do what they want to do
right,
over
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if I have a better idea, better idea is probably the wrong word, but so she originally gave me chorus vocal, and then I had my verse section here, and I wanted another verse to go over it. So I was like, can we get another verse in? Just do what you did, do what you do best, but
Yeah.
we need another verse. And then did that, and then there was like some ad libs that I wanted. So I was like, can we get something in the style of this that you did? Just make it more of an ad lib, do stuff like that.
This is something that's interesting because I've actually written with some really, really cool artists. There were some really experienced ones, and one of them was a girl called Tate, and she told me that harmonies and like multiple vocal takes are really overrated, and that just to have a main take and then ad libs underneath it's just way more effective. And for this is what's worked actually, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree. I always try if the main vocal take and the melody and the writing's really cool in it, then I'm like that. I'd feel like, and that slots naturally into the song. Like I put this in the project and it just worked. I do like the sound of harmony, but a lot of the time, if I am going to do something, I like to do it like I do like vocoders and stuff instead because I do get very fussy over that kind of thing. Yeah,
it can also overcomplicate things, right? If you've got
yeah, definitely. That's another thing. I was like, I dropped it in and it worked, and I was like, I don't need to do anything else to this.
Because garage is already so skippy, so
Yeah, you don't want to like clog it up.
almost complex in its rhythms that you're clogging it up with too many. So is there a mix bus that you've kind of got in?
Yeah. So obviously you got the vocals at vocal tracks themselves got nothing on it.
Hmm.
I've got a comp guide here. So if I move the camera there, so you can see these are my sends. I've got vocal delays and reverb. So I'm running it through this comp guide, which these have got side chains
Yeah.
on the sends. So you're dipping the reverb out when the vocal comes in.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it moves up to the main vocal processing, which is this here, which is gate, two auto tunes, even, and I did tune it in
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Lodge
fine. Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
not because they're a bad singer, but I like my vocals to sound dead, like really, maybe even slightly robotically pitched.
Yeah. So what auto tune are you using?
They're Antares
Yeah. Okay. Got yeah.
auto
Yeah. Yeah.
tune
Yeah.
standard. Um, then this group, which is disabled, is just like vocal effects. So like if I'm like if the song dips out and I want to filter it and reverb it, it's just that, but that's off for the moment.
Cool.
Then EQ to cut the lows out and making room for the hats. Using OTT to absolutely slam it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then I got this
This is
Waves.
interesting. I've seen this marketed around. What's going on with this?
I don't actually know what the point of it is. Obviously, it's a compressor.
Yeah, it's like a one plug-in for everything,
But
right?
for vocals, it works really well. It adds a lot of like
Sometimes,
high end to it. So if I take it out,
sometimes
Wow, yeah, it does
I
actually make a big.
it adds a lot. It kind of like fresh air again. I don't know, but it
It's
just
adding.
works.
It's just adding, right?
EQ, scooping out a bunch of the mud, making room for the synths, and there's some really harsh high end in it. So I've just totally scooped it out. Fresh air to bring some of it back, but in a nicer way.
Hmm.
De-essing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then final EQ, low end out, making room for the clap here, and then for the hats, taking out some high end compressor.
Yeah, you also. It sounds like you might be sidechaining it in the chorus as well. Is that going
Yes, the vocal is
need me.
sidechained. I don't know if I've done it. No, I haven't done it totally fully.
on? Oh, you're using the LFO tool for it.
Yeah. But yeah, I try not to do it too full. It depends on the vocal. Like sometimes it works.
Yes.
Absolutely ducking it, but then sometimes I've got songs where yeah, I haven't touched it at all. Like there's no sidechain.
Okay, so you're someone that likes to master their tracks.
Yeah, I'm really picky, so I like to mix and master everything myself. I've got Fresh Air. Hang on, let's actually go on the master. Fresh Air.
As that's your first plugin.
That's usually is, yeah.
Cool.
Because as I
Right.
said, I tend to mix slightly muddy, so I'm always trying to combat that. So
That's just, yeah,
that's
but you got it on a quite a low setting. It's just doing a little.
yeah, because I don't want to fuck up the low end too much,
Yeah. Okay.
essentially. So Fresh Air. Then I've actually it's a bit counterintuitive. I feel like these are cancelling each other out of it.
Yeah.
But then I'm adding a bit more low end in
Yeah.
because it just felt like it was just lacking slightly, so I just boosted it.
Yeah. Slight boost
Compressor,
around 100, is it? There.
yeah, 120 is
Okay.
like my golden like sub area for me.
Yeah.
Glue compressor, not I don't like the sound of a really compressed tune, so I'm only doing about 1.5 dB of reduction.
Hmm.
But it just, as the name says, glues it together.
Yeah.
Mid-side EQ, narrowing out obviously the low end, clearing that up. Then
So what EQ are you using as well? Is
just the Ableton stock.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
Ableton stock
Awesome.
EQ. I'm dipping my volume at the chain at this point, going into my saturators.
Yeah.
So Ableton saturator again.
Hmm.
Bring the volume back to what it was, and then a clipper, free clip again.
Well,
And
sorry, that's interesting. So you dip the volume, saturate it, and then raise it again.
yeah, so technically it comes out the same as it goes in. It comes out as a
Distorted,
nicer
like,
signal,
Yeah.
yeah. Because if I went in without that 10 dB reduction, the saturator would just clip the shit out of it and destroy everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of, yeah, I usually do that as saturation. If I'm running the channel a bit hot, I'll turn it down, do the saturation, turn it back up to what it was originally, and then work forward from there.
Yeah, and then you've got the clipper again.
Yeah, free clip on the clipper.
Hmm.
Obviously just shaving all the peaks down,
Yeah.
trying to get the song loud, and then loud max. This is another freebie, just a brick wall limiter on the master.
It's so interesting. You're getting such a loud signal.
Yeah,
You're
I
getting
mean,
it up really quite high, which is really really
I
good. It's
like-
making it so competitive, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so fussed about it. Like, there's no reason to be.
Yeah, no.
Like, if the
there
song's
is,
not going
there
to get,
is, bro, like,
I
there
push
is.
my songs probably too loud sometimes because I'm like, I just want it to be really loud and really thick and slap in the clubs.
Hmm.
So I'm going loud for that.
You're
But I
really
also
getting there, aren't you? Yeah. To
I admire a lot of like the
5
drum and bass artists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a too loud for garage, but they're getting down to like -2. And I'm like, clubby stuff, I'll probably try and go down to like -4.5. Roughly.
How are you getting there? Because you're not essentially limiting it past 2 dB, right, of attenuation. So how are you doing that? How are you getting it so
It
loud?
it's a bit of a you're opening a can of worms a bit. But
Okay.
essentially to break it down, it's your mix balance. So
Yeah.
obviously if you have too much low end, you know, you're not going to get there. But it's just like good use of compression, saturation, and especially clipping. So you can see like on all my main buses, my synths, there's a clipper on the end. Vocal, there isn't one for some reason. But bass, there's a clipper on the end. Drums, there's a clipper on the end.
Mm-hmm.
And when, as you probably might have noticed when we've been going through the project, when you solo each bus, you can hear everything's distorting and clipping. But then when you add it all together, you don't notice it in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
So doing all that, and then once you set all your elements up for, you've mixed for loudness in mind and you set it up, then when it comes down to your master channel, when you go to clip it, you can clip it a decent amount and it won't distort. And then that's why I'm able to push the limiter so hard, because it's literally shaved completely like that. It's like a Mars bar. Completely shaved. So you can stick the limiter right up. You can also destroy stuff getting loud. So if I feel like if I'm getting beyond 2 on this certain limiter, I can hear it squashing, and like it's usually not going to a very nice spot beyond that, in my experience, when I'm using this limiter.
Yeah, I think one of the things that really helps is that, again, that use of the clipper on all of the buses, and then again before the L2 there is really helping. I think that might be really helping you get up there, right? How hot are you coming in before you do the master chain? Are you leaving a lot of headroom?
I'm usually leaving about probably about -5, -6 dB.
Yeah.
For certain stages of it, like I'm giving myself more headroom for like when I'm running into saturate. So if I'm doing like analog gear plugins, you know, then I'm giving myself more headroom for that. So we've got a utility, like a gain plugin, if I get the automations up, which is essentially turning the whole master down, turning the
before
width.
the drop, is it?
It's turning the volume down, it's turning the width of the entire track down as well.
Oh, you're controlling the width as well?
Before the drop.
Yeah, how are you doing that? Controlling the
So
width?
it's literally just a width knob in Ableton's utility here that you can just automate down, and that'll
Wow.
take the stereo image
Wow,
down.
that's a really cool trick as well. What else can we get into? Is there something? It's kind of not a verse too, it's a breakdown if you like, right?
Sometimes
So you've got a 32 bar build to the next part, right?
Yes, yeah, here. Just so I do like kind of a half verse, half build kind of thing.
Is there anything slightly different that you're doing in this part?
Yeah, I mean creatively, technically, I'm not really a if I go in the bass channel. I don't know why. I like an organ, but I don't really like to
there's
do.
an organ there, right? Yeah.
I don't really like to do like just organ solo bass line stuff, but I just whack this out and it just works over everything else. But I've got a sampler. It's 2 layers.
Cool. Yeah.
I've got a sampler which has got like a snare. No, it's got a kick drum in it, which is just
Yeah. It's like a white noise type thing, right?
playing a transient, and then I've just got a test press. Is it a test press preset? Yeah, just an all test press organ kind of preset, because it's got no transient in it at all.
Are you doing that in the MIDI? The tuning that you know that it's detuning.
Oh yeah.
Detuning
I've got pitch bend to
Yeah,
start the phrase.
yeah, there we are.
Yeah, I love a little pitch bend. I'll stick those in every now and then.
Yeah.
But that section's really, I just let the vocal carry the work. Like you've just got the organ, you've got that flutter again, background pad, and then the serum arp in the background.
Yeah.
No, that's that entire section. And arrangement is one of the hardest things to do, I think, 100%. Like arrangement kills me sometimes. I try not to stick by like theories too much. I will just make the song, and if I'm feeling it and I like it and it sounds good to me, then that goes.
You're not trying to overthink things, right?
Yeah, because I do that a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm actively, especially recently, I'm now just like, I don't want I don't want to do that because you get those odd sessions where you just sit for like 2 hours and write an entire
At a
song and
time.
finish it. Yeah, and I'm like, I rarely get those, but I want to make that happen more often.
All right, okay.
So I'm like, I'm not that fast of a producer. I know a lot of people who can like churn out like 2 songs in a week or something. I'm like, not like that. So I'm trying to take a bit of a page
Well,
from their
I
book.
don't think it's necessary either. I think it works best. I had some advice from this guy who is is a co-founder of a publisher and like a publisher in London. And so I had this advice from him. I said, look, I want to be in sessions 3 to 5 times a week, with singers. I want to be in 3 different sessions with 3 different singers, creating all types of different music. 3 to 5 a week. And he just said, hey, no, you don't. It's best when it's quality over quantity because you can make 5 tracks a week, but they could be all
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that
yeah.
great. And you could do 1 to 2 tracks a week that are of a great quality, 1 or 2 a month even, because then if you get rolling momentum, you make
Yeah, yeah.
good quality tracks, and then it's something that actually goes somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I probably finish like 3 tracks a month, maybe.
Yeah.
But I've recently this year got so caught up in the business side of it and like the schedule side of it that I completely burnt myself out. So, well, just like making sure I've got songs signed and your next singles like prepared and ready to go. So
Well,
the
that
people,
added pressure can make it
yeah,
kind of
it did.
like,
That's exactly what happened. So I had like a month or two off because I just couldn't write anything because I was like so caught up in that mindset. And I'm out of that rut now, which is nice.
so you're back into production. How are you trying to actively avoid it, avoid the burnout?
So I'm actually quite lucky because Sky, I am full time in this,
Yeah,
which is technically shouldn't be, but I am.
yeah,
But which is great on paper because it means you can produce all day and do what you want. But then when that's your entire, then when that's everything that you do, then it's like, oh, if you do something and it doesn't work, or you do have a day where you can't make a tune, you're like, oh, what is going on? Like, you get really up in your head about it, I think.
true. Having that weighted pressure on it. I've also spoken to a lot of producers who then will have a viral song and they're doing it as and everyone I speak to is like, oh, I just done it, right? And I'm like, what do you mean you just done it? Like, how do you just do it? But they're not. It's not their priority. In times I've
Yeah,
made it
yeah.
my priority, it's too like that, and like these are guys that are just like, I just done it because it was fun. I'm like, what do you mean you just done it because it was fun?
Yeah, I mean,
Stupid.
I'm trying to remember recently why I started because started making music because I enjoyed making it as a hobby and not for a job.
Yes, right.
So I feel like when I sit down each day and I have my work period, which yeah, I make plenty of songs during that period, but then a lot of the time I make my better stuff in the evening or like
Yeah, yeah, that's
when I've
right.
like
Yeah,
shut the laptop for
it's
the day
annoying.
and I'm
Yeah,
like not gonna work, and then it's something
and
comes into
that's
head, I'm like
annoying.
right, this is going down.
Are you someone that will go up to like 2, 3 a.m. as well, going through it?
I used to, not too much anymore. Say like I'm with my family at dinner or something, and then I'm like, oh, I've had this idea come through, and
Yeah,
then I'm like, I'm just gonna grab my laptop, sit at the table, and get it down,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
get it to a place where I'm like, I know I can leave it and continue off with it.
Yeah, and how are you finding balancing also the social media side of things?
It's a bit annoying. I kind of do it in a bad way because I'll get up and I'll dedicate my morning to social media and then my afternoon to production. Because like recently with like this single release and stuff, the label that I've put it through with Garage Share, they've funded like content days and stuff. So in terms of when I'm at home, it's just me like sat in my room trying to think of ways to market it. But then I like to do the odd thing where I'll take like the decks out somewhere to a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
location and do like a shoot to promote stuff. So
I've seen you have
yeah,
your own YouTube channel where you uploaded a DJ set, right? And
yeah, that was a little while ago. That's a couple of years ago, I think now.
yeah, I saw it because I typed you in on YouTube to see what else is going on, and there's like a drone flying around. And
Yeah, yeah,
that's absolutely awesome. I thought that was sick.
yeah. I mean, I was at one of my university. So I did film at uni,
Oh wow,
and
okay, yeah,
some of my friends that I made from uni, they've gone into obviously film work, and we all kind of went into different crew areas, but to put it together, you kind of make a good crew.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
everybody had gear or like equipment or ideas for this DJ set, so they were just like, why don't we just film one for you?
Yeah, as I was saying, one of the things, especially when it comes to doing music, as you're structuring it all out, it's really hard to avoid burnout
That is.
and also have a friendship group and a dating life, if you like, as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. With all of that type of things, the social, the relationship side of things, do you find it hard balancing it all with music, or?
Not a lot of my friends are kind of into. I only have a couple of my friends that are kind of really into the garage or like dance space.
Mm.
All my friends are working like, I hate to say like normal jobs, but like a 9 to 5. Like when people are not busy, then I kind of backseat. In this job, you sit in your room all day, not seeing anybody. So when people are available, you should go and
Yeah, yeah.
make the effort to see them. Sometimes you should put a backseat on your music work, go see people, experience life a bit, and then you'll be more creative and make better stuff when you come back to it.
That's right, it comes from life experience sometimes, right? Sounds and songs, that's what music's always been. I kind of find sometimes that you get a bit programmed into it. You might be turned into a bit of a robot,
I've had that before when I've had like points in like where there's not a lot going on, or like I'm not that busy.
Yeah.
And then he's like on the grind all the time. It's like, mate, what is going on?
And so you also, I remember talking to you in person, you've been producing for actually quite a long time, even though you are quite young, right?
Probably producing for like 9 years.
That's probably the same amount of time as me.
I'd say, but yeah, I started like start secondary school just like for fun. I used to really be into like the like American like EDM scene. That's what I want. That's what I made initially.
Exactly the same. Flume was my biggest influence when I started coming. When I started learning production, it was Flume, a bit of Kashmir. So you started learning over 9 years. How was it? You didn't study it, right? You just.
No, I mean I did music at GCSE, but it doesn't really count. But I didn't do any like actual music college, production college. Like I didn't do any of that. I just literally sat and kept going at it until now, really. I mean, I've been producing for 9 years, but it's only in the past like 2 that I've probably been happy with productions, consistently happy with stuff that I'm making.
Yes, yeah, I found that as well. Even now, I'm still get like. And do you find it hard when? Because I sometimes, you might go out. People want to listen to your stuff. You want to. I bet you say I've been doing it for 9 years, but then they look at it. You got 5 or 6 songs out, and they're like, what, 9 years? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. No, I get what you mean, especially if it's like you like longer distance family or something. And
Yeah,
they're like,
that's
oh, what
right.
do you
That's when
do?
it's
And
the
then
hardest.
then your parents bring it out in front of the whole family and sit there, make you listen to it in front of everyone, and I'm like, oh my God. Big inspiration for a lot of my tracks and a lot of my style is I love when producers do like 100% mixes on the SoundCloud, and there's just some like unreleased tunes in there that will probably never see the light of day that are like so cool. And I'm like, if I could do like, I see producer got like 50 tracks sitting in the locker, and I've got like, I literally make a track then release it. So I'm like, one day I will do
Is that what you do?
an 100% mix.
I think this is a really interesting point for anyone who's listening, because a lot of these people, they're wanting to know firstly how to make the tracks, and then how to get the stuff signed, and how to like network and stuff. How did you do it? What was your process behind it? So you started, you didn't know anyone. How did you get your first in? What was the tracks getting signed and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, essentially it was just putting stuff out there. Like you just gotta sit at home, do the grunt work, make your music, and send it to people. Like send it to labels that you want to be on, or artists that you like are on.
Yeah.
Shoot it in, yeah, send it to people on emails, Instagram, whatever. Just shoot your music around anywhere. So like, yeah, I used to send all my tracks out to loads of different labels, and then got picked up by Garage Shared and then released with them.
You know what's interesting to me is I'm not my massive TikTok user, I should be, but your Instagram is target specific. One of the things that I have somewhat of a half decent following, but it's not necessarily just for music purposes. Yours seems like it is, and so everyone's engaging, right?
Yeah, that's another thing also, like social media is huge now. Like you got to put yourself out there and sell. Yeah, that helps get you connections.
But one of the questions is, why should anyone really bother? Why should anyone care? And then it's getting them interested. Why should anyone care about you know, us in our rooms making music, and it's the same for everyone else. I think that it's your unique selling point, like who you are as a person, you know, and one of the tools to curate that is social media, because you can control the narrative a bit, right? And then people can discover you from your TikTok, from your Instagram, for me, a lot of it's from YouTube.
I mean, getting feedback as well is like really helpful. Like a lot of people, I ask people like, why are you listening to my music? And like, what got you interested in it? Which I'm very grateful. A lot of the answers are because of my production style and my production work. Yeah, cool. So then I'll lean more into that, and that's why people like it.
That's a hard thing to maintain is inspiration. How do you sort of maintain inspiration?
Not very well, to be honest. Like I just keep throwing shit like at the wall till it sticks. Like some week I'll just sit there and aimlessly produce shit, and I'll spend like 3 days producing straight trash in a row, and then maybe like at the end of the week I'll get something that's got a hint of something good in it that I can work on.
My source of inspiration really comes from if I'm having an off day, and I'll go through just a new UK garage playlist, and then I'll jump into it. You know?
It's so good because you'll hear like if you hear a couple of tracks, you'll be like, oh, this little element of this track I might use in one of my own, and then that little element from another track, I think I could do something cool with that.
I think one of the things is that also like fashion, music is changing. There are new subgenres that will come out here and there, and or bass techniques or pads to use and stuff like that I used to get caught in quite a lot. You know, you're chasing the phantom of making something that's popular in the now rather than something that's going to be everlasting. It kind of have you found that you've been caught in that?
I just make what I think is cool and what I want to make, because I think because that's what I enjoy doing. And also, like, I think every major producer that's ever blown up or is known for a style did it because it's like what they liked making, and then they don't have the problem of chasing a genre or anything. I mean, if there's a genre that's big right now and everybody else is making it, but you really enjoy making it, then make it. You know, it doesn't matter. It's quite selfish, really. Like, I make music to make music that I'm happy with as an artist. That's what you should do, and then people will resonate with you more, I think, in that way.
I think that's such an important topic, that you just described. They're making it because you want to make it, right? Because you like it, you want to listen to it, you know, and everyone else is partial, you know, or you want them to listen and you want them to enjoy it, but it's because you like it. So, I mean, earlier you also said one of the things, you know, if you're giving advice would be to just keep putting stuff out there. In terms of, like, you sent your music to labels, but in terms of, am I right in saying you have someone like a booking agent?
Yes, I do. I've got a booking agent.
And how would something like that come about? Is that they found you or you found them?
So, again, that's a case of networking through putting your stuff out. So there's a quite popular garage events brand called Profound Sound. I feel like if you're immersed in the garage space, people know of them. But majority of the crew who ran that knew my music, and they guest listed me down to one of their events in London a couple of years ago. They were like getting artists together to network. So I was like, yeah, cool, I'll come. Went to the event, had a great time, met loads of people, and one of the people there was Jack, who's one of the co-founders of the Profound Sound. And spoke to him, got on really well with him, and then went home, you know, had a good time, didn't think anything of it. And then a couple of months later, he shoots me a text, and he's like, he went into Clockwork Artists and he became a booking agent. They wanted him to bring some new artists on that he thought would match up with their roster. And after speaking to me at the event, he thought I was a strong contender, so brought me on, signed me to Clockwork, and here we are.
That's another whole topic, really, is getting into these events. And then one of the things that maybe I found a lot was people trying to, more often than not, going to network events, trying to gain opportunity, and instead of to network. The interesting thing that you said then was you spoke to him, but you kind of just had fun, you know, you didn't think nothing of it, and then he got back in contact with you. It's that not needing and then just going there to enjoy it. I think the mentality, I'd not even do videos on this, but the mentality of the production side of things is huge.
Mm.
Huge. And then also then being able to network in the sense that you're doing it is one common trait, and it's I'm doing it because I enjoy it, not for the approval or anything of anyone else. And then I'm also, if I'm going to a networking event, I'm going to network. Perhaps you're giving value rather than taking value, which is essentially, what can you provide to the.
Definitely. I mean, it is hard. It's like I've been to a few before where I've obviously had a successful one, like the Profound Sound one. I've been to some and I haven't spoken to anybody.
Yeah. I've done the
Uh,
same, bro.
but I've also been to sessions where I'm speaking to some people that are a lot more connected to me than me, and they've got some serious like they could if you get on their good side, they could put you in the right place, and it's really hard to not to stay relaxed and not try and subtly like I feel like if you're in that situation, you'll subtly try and
Yeah,
opportunity
so
gain
what
from
is.
them.
I've seen some people go, I've got this thing that I think you'll like, or I've got this and I think you'll like a little bit of. I
I think
don't
you've
know.
just got to not think about what they can do for you and just try and get friendly with them and
Yeah,
build a good relationship with them.
and
I
that
mean, that
goes. Go on.
every major thing that's happened in my career so far has been a result of that.
Yeah,
Like not thinking about the opportunities and just chatting to them as a person and just, being friendly. And then when you least expect it, like you'll be like, oh, nothing's going to come of that. And then it does.
yeah.
Like a few months down the line or maybe years down the line, you never know.
Yeah, and that's such great advice to give to people as well. Is yeah, you get people that they might be sharky or step on each other's toes just for the opportunity, and when you speak to people as people without needing anything, I think it's the thing without needing anything, you're just doing it because you enjoy it. Is a completely different mentality towards it to where you then attract opportunity rather than chase it, to you. But obviously you need to put stuff out there, right? So was it a case of you was putting stuff out there on SoundCloud as free downloads?
Yeah, anything and everything really. Distributing and doing originals or doing free downloads. You just got to get your stuff out there, send it to people. I mean, it's going to suck at first because no one's going to hear anything, or you'll get deflated because I got one play, or I got like 10 plays in a week or something. It's like, but as I said, remember why you're doing it because you enjoy it, and you don't expect anything. You can't go in with the mindset with I'm putting this out to blow up eventually. Like, I just put it out because I like making garage, and then people either through free downloads or they found me through a label or they found me through an independent release that did well. Uh, they like my music and they follow along, or social media as well. If a lot of people say they discovered me through social media,
Yeah.
which I'm very on. I'm very like I try to stay active on social media as much as I can,
Do you
which is
do you find it hard?
yes.
Here's another thing, is that if you follow a lot of producers or singers and artists and you see them getting amazing opportunities, do you find it hard not to get caught in the wormhole of, I'm not
Yeah,
doing well enough?
oh yeah, 100%. And I think I get a bit toxic in my head about it sometimes because
Yeah,
I'm like, it's not, you need to remember it's really not a numbers game. And it's like, you'll see people that are like, which is really, I don't do it much anymore, which is good because it's a bad thing to think about. But you see people that might not be on paper as big or successful as you. And it's like, how did they get that booking, but I didn't, you know? And it's like, it's not a good mindset to think of, but I used to do that a little bit, and I was like, you'll get there eventually.
the one thing that is really important is telling yourself it's not my time, but it will be,
Yeah, and it's
or even in a sense, kind of like enjoying. It is my time because I'm making music that I like.
it's not necessarily about how successful you are. Like you might get these opportunities because of your artistry or like your skill set of producing or DJing. You don't have to be popular to necessarily get opportunities.
In terms of anything new you've got working on, is there anything that's coming
Yeah,
pipeline?
yeah, we got a new single out 3rd of October next month.
Okay, cool.
First one with an MC, so I'm excited about that. That'll come out.
Yeah.
Um, Hopefully some live shows.
In terms of just like maybe because everyone listening, they're wanting to learn. Is there any advice core to you that you think you could give to a up and coming producer that helps you, that is necessary?
Yeah, and I remember people literally listening I remember listening to people and them saying what I'm about to say, and I'd be like, it's the corniest shit ever, bollocks, worst advice ever, very boring. But just start get start if you haven't started, start ASAP. And even if you've got no connections, I didn't know anybody in the music industry. I didn't have any followers or anything on anything. I was completely blank slate at the bottom. And it'll take you a long, long time to get anywhere, but don't think about it like that. Just enjoy what you're making, have fun with it, put it out to the public, put it out to the public. And when you feel like you're getting a bit more confident with your work and you feel like, yeah, do you know what? I think I'm getting somewhere with it now. Then you can start sending it around to some bigger players. A lot of people, you can see a lot of high profile labels or intimidating, but you've just got to not be scared. The worst they're going to say is no. And a lot of them have their ear a lot closer to the ground than you think and will actually pick you up or give you feedback. Just get yourself in there, essentially. Do what you can to get out there.